Hello everybody, Terry Carl Joyedian here with Law 37 of Dave Asprey's Game Changers. No relationship is an island. And basically what I got from this chapter is that long-term relationships can be very beneficial, or they can be just as detrimental if they're not a healthy relationship. But if it is a healthy relationship, long-term relationships can be beneficial, tend to make people happier, which we know happiness leads to success, as Dave has talked about before. And the relationship needs to be supported by the community as much as possible. There's a great paragraph in here that really puts things into perspective. When Dave interviews Esther Perel, as he tends to interview experts, she says that any type of relationship, even a non-traditional one, will work better with the support of a community. Every time a cultural norm begins to shift, people say it's impossible, it will never work. And she reminds us that the first intermarriage in the United States was between a Catholic and a Protestant. People said it would never work. And then it was a marriage between Jews and Gentiles. People said it would never work. Then it was marriage between black and white, which was criminal until not too long ago. People said it would never work. But those marriages were initially difficult because the couples were isolated, not having the support of their communities. They had fewer resources and were less happy. As norms have shifted and mixed couples have gained the support of the people around them, such relationships have become more successful. Turns out that having a relationship doesn't fully quell the subtle biological fear that a relationship is supposed to address unless the relationship also has community support. Because Dave talks about how it's beneficial to have a long-term relationship because of those basic instincts we have that are calmed by being in a relationship, such as a sense of safety and community. Having that person that you have that connection to, that loyalty, can help quell those basic instincts that have that need to feel safe. And also, if there's any chance of reproduction, that also makes your basic instincts happy, because that's also one of the things that we feel we need to do biologically, whether or not we do. At least there's a potential that we feel when we're in a relationship. Let's see. So, a couple of suggestions that Dave has. Ask yourself how happy you are in your current relationship. If it's making you miserable, it's hindering your performance. So invest in fixing it or redirect your energy elsewhere. Dave says you should put as much time into your relationship as you do in the gym or your career, because again, it affects your happiness, and your happiness affects your success. So whether you want to be happy or successful, they're connected, and it's connected to your relationship or relationships. Then he says list 3 couples who inspire you. He says we often are asked who's someone who you really admire that's a leader in your field, or that's a great example. It's easier for us to come up with something in those areas, but how often does someone ask you who's a couple you admire? And how often does that naturally come to mind? If you have one that naturally comes to mind that's an example for you, great. If you don't, he says to start taking note of it. Start paying attention until you find some couples that you can start emulating, that you can use as your guidelines. Then, are you in a community that supports the type of relationship you have or are looking for? If not, start with finding one. Find that community that's going to support you and develop a world-class relationship. Woohoo. So, pretty interesting chapter. I am in a relationship, a long-term one, so I didn't feel like I could really relate. We're not a part of really anything that currently, at the time of this video, would be considered taboo. But it was really interesting just to have that perspective of where we've come And he goes into it deeper. So check out the book. There's a link below this video in the description. And we'll see you again for the next law. Coming up soon is all about changing your mind. Looks like meditation is coming up, gratitude is coming up. I'm actually gonna peruse this, just get an overall feel for it, because I know I'm gonna love it. This next section is called Reset Your Programming. If you liked this video, please like it. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe. Check out the other laws in this playlist. We're wrapping things up, getting closer and closer to the end. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you for the next one. Much love and many blessings to you all. Bye now.